Who's ready for some witchcraft? We're going to attempt to repair a Gameboy with horizontal lines. The vertical ones are fairly easy to repair, but nobody attempts the horizontal for a good reason. Let me show you how I'm going to attempt it. This may go in disastrous ways, or it may work. So let's just find out. The issue with the Gameboy is the horizontal lines going across here are on a ribbon that's at the side that melts very easy under low temperature. The vertical are easier because it's on this kind of capped on Teflon ribbon, and you can just simply warm up the pads here. So what we're going to do is attempt to fix this, and I've got a technique I've used a few times, and it's not a guarantee, but as a last resort it's worth trying. Start by removing the two posts here, so let's just turn the console off, and what we need to do is get as much access to the screen underneath as possible. Then we need to remove this metal bar holding it down. It's soldered in here, it's bent over here. So if we just bend these up and then lift up this bar. Once up, you can see underneath. This is the ribbon we need to repair. So here is the driver chip, the LCD driver, and here's the flexible ribbon that melts if you touch it with a soldering iron. It connects between this barrier here all the way down. So what we need to do is reflow all the pins on this ribbon. So to wedge this up, I'm going to just use a bit of acrylic. You can use anything you want, just as a light wedge there. And now we can see into here and we have our hands free. Put flux all down the gap between the ribbon. And then we want to see what we're doing. So we're actually going to power this up now before we start work. If it is just the connection between the ribbon, which is common, we can fix this. If, however, there's a break on the main die on this green part, which is possible, you'll never recover the lines. So the last step is simply get a hot air station. You will have to use hot air. Set it to 180, between 180 and 190, and 15% airspeed. So very slow, very cold. This is the key to get this working. And the trick now is to warm up the gap between that ribbon. So I'll show you from both sides, but I'll see if you can spot some of the repair happening as we're warming up. You should just see this naturally start joining together. You can see we've actually got vertical lines appearing at the minute, but we can fix those after. And what we're trying to do is aim the hot air at that gap between the ribbon. And then if it doesn't work from underneath, which in this case this one isn't, we'll tackle it from the top. So we'll apply some heat from above, the same temperature. Now what we do is lift up under here, get under the ribbon, and push back up to the glass. And you can see there in this case, the joint that isn't being made is on this glass frame, not on the ribbon. So it can be broken in two different places. So the same principle applies. You basically warm up and push back on. And you can see we've got control of all the horizontal here, but where it's dead, it's very dead. So it's kind of not wanting to recover at the top, so you can recover everything else bar the broken ones. Here's another screen I've got there with some vertical and horizontal lines. And if we warm this one up, so this is at the 180 and 15% airspeed. You can see this one, because the damage is, by the looks of it, on this edge, we've managed to recover that horizontal line. And some screens can be repaired really quickly like that, and others just don't repair. It all depends on where the damage is. So let's just fix these vertical lines, and I'm curious as well, does a bit of flux and hot air do the vertical lines better than using a soldering iron? And you can see there, yes it does. So that's zero contact. I'm not rubbing an iron up and down, I'm simply using flux and warming the area with the hot air. And you can see that's basically going to have recovered all the lines. And I think when it cools, that'll be fully connected. And there you can see it's been completely restored, both horizontal and vertical. Whenever we turn down, we can see There's Mario and Yoshi. So that's how you can possibly recover the horizontal lines. You can see one board just did not recover whatsoever, no matter what we did to it. And this board, an example, we've recovered both horizontal and vertical. So it's a bit of a luck of the draw, and that's why so many people don't even attempt to repair horizontal lines. And in fact, we don't normally. I just wanted to show you the possible techniques of using hot air at a very low temperature and speed with flux can recover these screens. That's it for this one, guys, and I hope you learned something.